There are several ways to get access to a Linux system. One of the methods is using a web simulator. To use that, we simply visit the website, and the only requirement is that you have a computer with internet access. Please bear in mind that the simulator runs a simulation, so it's not the real thing and not all of the commands will work. But, however, it's a quick way to get started. If you have an Android device such as a phone or a tablet, you can access a Linux terminal. Now, bear in mind that also an Android device is heavily locked down by default, so not all of the commands will work. The third way to get an access to Linux is using a program called VirtualBox. VirtualBox allows you to run a virtual computer on your computer. To run VirtualBox, you need a desktop computer. So by default you'd have an Intel or AMD processor with at least 512 megabytes of RAM, and probably more. You need a few gigabytes of disk space and a supported computer system. So all of the Windows versions from 2000 to Microsoft Windows 8 are supported, as well as Apple Macintosh OS X. So if you want more details, visit virtualbox.org. And finally, the old-fashioned way is simply to get a Linux CD or a Linux disk. You can get a Linux Live CD and put it in the computer, and Linux will start. So this, once started, you have the choice to run it in memory, so you can directly use the Linux system after inserting the CD, or you can install it. Now, if you choose to run it from memory, you won't be able to damage your computer, and so you can really play around with the system without making any damage. Now, live CDs or Linux CDs can be ordered online. So if you search for Ubuntu CD or Linux Mint CD, you can order such a CD directly in your mailbox, and you put it in the computer and Linux will start. So that's a Ubuntu or Linux Mint. There are several other Linux systems, but these are the most famous. And you can also download such a CD yourself. So to create it yourself by going to one of these Linux sites like ubuntu.com, and you download it and burn it onto a CD.